Leonard Fournette, he gets an insurance policy taken out on himself. It's obviously the season before he is draft eligible. So this is an important policy for him to take out on himself. And he takes out a couple of insurance policies totaling up to $10 million. And that's what I realized as I was reading up on the story. This kind of insurance policy is like the Wild West of insurance policies, allowing for insurance companies and schools to be particularly crooked in a way that other insurance companies wish that they could be. Not to say anything against insurance companies, but a lot of insurance companies, especially the national ones, really don't care about you. Okay? I don't care what commercial they run about seeing you as a person or treating you like a good neighbor or whatever. You're a number. No one's that naive. Nobody believes that State Farm cares about them or that Allstate or whatever cares about them. Like, all of those companies are about one thing. There's only one name that they care about. That's Benjamin. They don't care about, Ross or Rose or Tulis or Stroud. They care about Benjamin. If they don't get money, they don't really care. So you find yourself in a lot of places where your own insurance company should be doing a great job with you, should be helping you handle your affairs, and they can't really do it because financially it puts them back. Okay? That's why your deductibles are eternally massive. You can never pay that down. Okay? That's why if you hit somebody and they don't have insurance and you have insurance, they might cut you a check, but that check might not be enough for the damage that was done to your car. It's crazy. It's actually crazy. I mean, it's unbelievable to me. And then you end up in a situation now where you're Leonard Fournette and you're in this unknown territory because, let's face it, nobody knows how to regulate this stuff. You've got guys being told by coaches and stuff like, go out there and try and see if you can be evaluated to enter the NFL draft. You're not necessarily getting great advice. And this story on CBS really kind of illuminated it a little bit, that there are schools that'll tell you, to mislead players on insurance policies. Here's the story on CBS. Baton Rouge, Louisiana is our dateline. The story is written by Dennis Dodd of CBS Sports. Leonard Fournette wasn't comfortable when confronted with his athletic mortality. Did it ever cross his mind? LSU's junior tailback was asked recently that his talents are insured by two policies, each worth $10 million. Those policies are believed to make him one of the most heavily insured players in college sports history. I don't think about it, Fournette told CBS Sports. This is the second time I'm actually talking about it. I leave everything in God's hands. In the largely unregulated world of disability insurance for college players, God might be the best option if Fournette is ever seriously injured. It doesn't necessarily matter if the rising junior tailback is a man playing a kid's game or that he's projected as a high first-round draft choice in 2017. It could go all the way. It could all go away in one unfortunate injury. Fournette needs to know it has become common practice for the game's best players to purchase disability insurance. The policies bought by his parents cover him for $10 million total disability in the event of a career-ending injury, and $10 million for circumstances that would lead him to falling from his projected NFL draft spot. These days, you cannot typically purchase one without the other, even if you wanted to, and when premiums run approximately $8,000 per $1 million of coverage, that's a lot of money going around, even if the covered player finishes his career with no more than a hangnail. There are sales commissions to be made. The industry suffers from no regulation whatsoever, said personal attorney Brian Fisher, the consumer is being exploited. Fisher sees himself as a reformer. His Baton Rouge office is a short drive from LSU's Tiger Stadium. He considers Les Miles and other LSU officials respected acquaintances. Representing players with legal challenges against insurance companies that don't pay up is side work. Fisher does it more out of moral conscience than profit. LSU, he says, is one of the good ones. The school genuinely cares and offers guidance when players and families go looking for insurance. When Fournette wanted his policy to kick in at the start of this year's spring practice, an adjustment was made and off he went. But Fisher keeps close a file of budding cases from Auburn, Michigan, Notre Dame, Ohio State, and USC. All of them, Fisher contends, have misled players on insurance policies. Now that just seems wrong, right? Like that just seems so morally skewed that the schools are for the players and the insurance policy is for the players. And yet nobody seems to actually be on the side of the players, which is just typical of this whole student athlete business anyway, that the players are the ones left out to dry. They make the money, they take the risks, and they're left with no money and sometimes damage that cannot be undone. And if that damage were to happen, the school that's making money off the back of the player might want to be better as an organization goes than misleading that player to taking an insurance policy that maybe doesn't cover everything that it's supposed to. Okay? I don't think I can expect insurance companies to act better than insurance companies act. There's sort of a conflict of interest with what insurance companies do in the first place. They have you as a customer, but at the same time, they make money off of you as a customer, okay? Which is different from how a lot of other businesses go. This is how a lot of other businesses go. You provide a service, and in exchange for that service, I pay you. Insurance companies take your money so that they might maybe provide a service, possibly under a highly specific subset of conditions. And then if you don't meet all those conditions, they still have your money. Like you're still paying them every month. Okay? That to me is that is the conflict of interest at work. They like to make the money. They don't like to give it back, which is what it's doing. Like you would be better off. And I wonder if anyone's ever tried this before, if anyone's ever calculated this before. But whatever your insurance is costing you, you would almost be better off just putting that in the bank every month. And then when you get into an accident, just pay it off with whatever you've saved. Like if you put aside, I don't know, $150 or whatever your insurance is monthly, like if you just put that aside every month in the event that you ever did get into an accident, like you would just be set to cover whatever it is, whatever damages. Like I would prefer that instead of insurance, because then dealing with these people to get the money that you need for repairing your vehicle or whatever the case may be, or replacing your stuff in your house is ridiculous. Like they have a bunch of clauses and a bunch of sub standards that you need to meet in order to get the money you've been paying them all along. And so now here they are in a world of college athletics where, you know, I mean, that's a very small part of the population that you're talking about here with guys like Leonard Fournette and, you know, Laramie Tunsil and just guys getting into the draft projected to go high in the draft. That's a very small group of people. So it's not something that's going to be highly exposed to everyone. That these insurance companies are obviously going to continue to have a bunch of clauses and be weird about paying a player that may have had a career-ending injury if maybe his injury doesn't fall underneath a certain clause, or maybe he got popped for steroid use and then an injury gets discovered and then he's not covered anymore, or whatever ridiculous thing that they slap onto these guys. And it's so unfair. It hurts. It's so unfair. It hurts. Like I look at it and I'm like, I'm already not pleased with the setup of insurance. Like, say what you want about the Affordable Care Act and about Obama, but I think we can all agree that the way that the insurance companies had health insurance set up before, the premiums were raising at a ridiculous rate, and they were not interested in taking food and bread off of their table and giving it back to their own customers. We weren't going to be able to afford privatized health insurance at the rate that the premiums were rising. Something had to be done. Now, maybe you don't believe that the Affordable Care Act was the right decision there. The Affordable Care Act was the helpful decision there, and that is a fair criticism because the way that all got wheeled out and rolled out didn't actually work as well as Obama had hoped, or any of us, really. Like, if your worst case scenario of what that was came out, it wouldn't have been what actually happened. What actually happened was somehow worse. So, yeah, it wasn't what anybody wanted it to be. Even the people who were against it were like, okay, well, at least let this not be the worst version of this. And then it was the worst version of that. Like, it wasn't what you hoped it would be, but it was something. We can amend it. We can tweak it. We can fix it. What we can't do is sit there and have people trying to pay these impossible insurance premiums because insurance companies don't care. Okay? You need to have health insurance. They know this. They'll just wait until you can afford it. And if not, then you'll be paying for something somewhere down the line. Like, they don't care. All right? I'm not bashing people in the insurance business because it is something that is necessary. Like, insurance is an actual necessary service. The problem is that too many insurance companies act like their job isn't to actually insure you. Like, they don't have a problem collecting your money every month, but then when it's time to insure you, all of a sudden, it's hard to get anything through. You're calling your insurance company. I had a friend who got into an accident, and then the insurance company was waiting on the police report, and the police officer was taking forever to write the police report. Meanwhile, her car was destroyed, and she had no way to get to work. Well, I mean, that's your insurance company. Insure me. Like, what on earth do I pay you for? And so Brian Fisher in this article, who is helping to insure Leonard Fournette, we're trying to expose some kind of side of this insurance business where insuring a player means that player actually gets insured, because the whole point of not paying a player is twofold. You expect them to make money after they're done in college. NCAA, you call them student athletes. I don't know about all of that, but like, you expect them to make money after they're done with college, either with the degree that they're getting while they're there, even though, come on, man, the money that they're getting for that degree, the money that degree is worth is still worth less than the money that they're making you all. Okay? When you're signing TV rights that are in the billions, it's still worth less than the money that you all are making by a very, very large margin. The coaches are making more money annually than the players' degrees are worth. That's absurd. You guys deserve to get paid, but you're like, okay, you can make the money in the NFL later. You can make it in the NBA later. Like, no, not necessarily. You can't. If you get a career-ending injury, you may not make that money back. And yes, I can hear the voice, the ridiculous voice of Danny Cannell wafting into my ear, probably saying something along the lines of, well, you can be insured. Well, all of these insurance companies are not on the up and up. It's not regulated in any way. And there's nobody looking out for the student athlete. So maybe some guys get the money that they need should they fall, should their draft stock fall, or the money that they need should they become permanently injured. But you know what? If even a handful of guys don't get what their insurance is supposed to cover, that's too many guys. Okay? That's too many. That's the whole point of ethics, is that everybody gets treated equally and fairly. That the same considerations that happen for me should happen for you as well. If anybody is getting worked over by the system's wrong. Okay? It's not just plain disagreeing. It's this guy bought insurance and then his insurance company backed out and his university told him to go to an insurance company that wasn't worth a dang thing. That's a problem. You're listening to AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio, Clutch with Keon Rose. That's me. Thank you for joining me, giving me just a little slice of your time. Remember that you can check us out on all forms of social media. Okay? We're on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube. Search Hot News Talk Radio. It's Hot News Talk Radio. You can also find us on hotnewstalkradio.com. We stream live 247, 365. We do this show, Clutch with Keon Rose, every day from 6 to 7 p.m. We talk sports and we talk a lot of college football. We have talked as much college football as I can find interesting news on during the offseason. But be patient with me, folks. It is still the offseason. Okay, there's just so many stories that you can find, and I'm only willing to talk about satellite camps for so many days in a row. It's baseball. It's baseball season, and we're so early in the baseball season, we're not in the part that matters. The Braves are 8-24. They're 12.5 games back from the Mets, who lead the division. I don't want to talk about depressing Braves baseball. It's their last season at Turner Field, and you would kind of hope that they'd go out with some like great memories, though they had that win the other day. I'm just surprised. Like they're on pace to lose over 120 games, according to the USA Today, whatever metric they can't calculate that with. It's ridiculous. Okay. Braves baseball. You can also check us out in the TuneIn Radio app. I suppose you can also find Braves baseball in the TuneIn Radio app. Search it absolutely free in your favorite app store, regardless of the mobile device that you use. Search it there and search Hot News Talk Radio. Give us a favorite and press play. You'll have Hot News Talk Radio everywhere you go. So the deal with my voice is that it's coming back slowly but surely. It's coming back probably much more slowly than it should, because I won't stop talking. It's kind of what I do. I like to talk about sports, and I can't help it. Anybody ask me a sports question during the day, and I will answer you. You understand? I will answer you. If you start an argument, I will argue with you. And it's not doing wonders for my voice. So what I'm hoping is that this weekend coming up, I get a chance to relax a little bit. Not completely, because I will be going to the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame on Saturday night, which I am sure there are some of those tickets still out there. You can go to TennesseeRadioHallOfFame.com. .org. It's a nonprofit. And see if you can get your tickets to meet some Tennessee radio legends that basically the reason why we have great talk radio in Tennessee the way we do is in part to some of the guys being inducted into the Hall of Fame this weekend. So look out and see if you can get some tickets for that. That's this Saturday. So Laramie Tunsil, the texts with the coach confirmed. Completely confirmed, not completely confirmed, but they're trying to check and see if there's been any changes, but the texting did happen. So are we going to close down Ole Miss football? I said yesterday, I don't think they will. This is a little bit more definitive of an answer, but I still think they won't do it. Death penalty is hard to give. Maybe I don't know exactly what they're going to do, but I know that looking at SMU, and a lot of people have thought about this and spent a lot of time thinking about it. Looking at SMU and what happened there with the Pony Excess story, I don't think we're going to see another death penalty. Really, I don't think we're going to see it. Certainly not on that scale, because of how detrimental it was to that school. Okay. Like that school could have been one of the schools that we know today in the Big 12 or something. It was in the Southwest Conference at the time. That conference eventually many of the schools would carry over into the Big 12. And we could know SMU as a great Big 12 school, but they got busted for cheating, recruiting the likes of Eric Dickerson along the way. And we ended up with a school now trying to come back to prominence, and they make bowl games, and that's news. So I'm interested in seeing what the NCAA is going to do with this Laramie Tunsil story, because I kid you not, I was listening to a podcast. I was listening to, I think, the Cover 2 college football podcast, which is a very good podcast, by the way. You should probably check that out if you're a college football fan. I was listening to that podcast, and they were talking about how weird it was that Ole Miss got as fast, as quickly as they did. And then, a few weeks later, the Laramie Tunsil thing happens, and we're seriously questioning Ole Miss. Like, you guys didn't just get good. Hugh Freeze wasn't just this brilliant, fantastic recruiter. Hugh Freeze recruited by offering to pay money to people. And I'm not even saying like what he did was wrong, because like when you're talking about it in the grand scheme of things, giving someone money for bills shouldn't be the worst thing. But there are avenues that the school can go through for that. Okay? And it's the same thing that I always say with guys in marijuana in sports. I don't think that marijuana is the worst thing ever. Bite me, fine, but I don't think marijuana is the worst thing ever. However, if your job prohibits you from smoking weed, guess what you cannot do? You cannot smoke weed. Can't do it. If your job tells you, no, we can't let you do that, you can't smoke weed, okay? You can't have any in your system. I couldn't have weed in my system to be a Domino's pizza delivery driver. Now, this was no problem for me, as I do not smoke, but if I ever did, and they drug tested me, and they did do drug tests, I'd lose the job. So you don't do it, because they're going to test you. Like, It's the same thing with this. You understand that you can't give the athlete money straight up for bills. You might be doing it well-intentioned. You might have promised them that when they came to your school, like, we'll make sure your family's looked after. None of these things are evil things. They really aren't. In fact, I think the system is broken. However, you know what the rules are, and you can't violate them, and you can't go around breaking them. Because it's not a shock. You haven't been allowed to give players money. Find another avenue to help that player out. I don't know, call United Way, something. You're listening to AM 1240, Hot News Talk Radio. Clutch with Keon Rose. Thank you for joining me today. Remember, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Stay clutch, and I'll see you in 24 hours.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world. News Talk 1240.
Shake, shake, shake it at Five Guys Burgers and Fries. The most delicious and unique milkshakes. How about this for delicious and different? Add freshly cooked bacon to any milkshake.
Is that even legal?
You bet your milkshake and booty it is. Chocolate caramel bacon shake. Coffee caramel shake. All hand blended. Shake, shake, shake it. Down at Five Guys Burgers and Fries. Just about any flavor shake that you can imagine. And they are delicious. Get your shake, shake, shake on at Five Guys Burgers and Fries. Five Guys Burgers and Fries, located in Hickson at North Point. Gun Barrel at the Walmart Center. Downtown 4th and Broad. And in Cleveland at Keith and Stewart. Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake.
Do you feel better outside your home or business than in? Indoor air quality is important. Mildew, mold, smoke, water, and rodent damage are prime causes of poor indoor air quality. Ducts, Indoor Air Professionals, better known as Duct Busters, cleans HVAC systems using 127 definable Duct Busters steps. Let Mark Thompson address the indoor air quality at your business to help reduce employee illnesses. Prevent fires by cleaning your dryer vents. Mark and his parents, Dick and Joan Thompson, have been building our local economy and helping local people with HVAC systems 16 years. Ducts, Indoor Air Professionals. Call 876-9907. 876-9907. Ducks. Call now.
Cash, 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 and more cash. Rick Davis is sitting on a mountain of cash, and he wants to give it to you. Hey, it's a fair trade for unwanted coins, diamonds, bracelets, antiques, silver flatware, pocket and wristwatches, pins and jewelry. It's so high that mountain of cash is nearly as tall as a billboard. Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, paying you top dollar for your valuables. Turn them into cold, hard cash. See Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds now. Brainerd Road near Eastgate Town Center. Cash, 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 and more cash. Unlimited streaming, T-Mobile. No overages. T-Mobile. Get the latest Samsung smartphones. T-Mobile. No credit check required. T-Mobile. Let's set the record straight on coverage. T-Mobile has the best coverage in the Chattanooga area. For a limited time, get 50% off a Samsung tablet when you buy a select Samsung Galaxy smartphone. Only at T-Mobile. T-Mobile, doing data differently. T-Mobile. Unlimited streaming. No overages. T-Mobile. Route 153 Hickson. Next to Starbucks. Open till 8. Call 876-9022. That's 876-9022 for T-Mobile.
Our house in the middle of